Hey guys, it's day number 23. Tonight we wanted to talk a little bit about, first we're going to talk about the juice that Todd made.
Yeah, so we got a nice vegetable juice. It's got a nice orange, reddish hue to it. It's very similar to V8 with a little bit of kick. Made one a few days ago, and different recipe. But I went to the store before coming home tonight, picked up what I could find to match it up the best we could. So this has some carrots, Roma tomatoes, red and yellow bell pepper, cilantro, green onion, kale, celery. Did I say celery?
I don't know.
I might have said celery.
You might have said
What else? That's it, I think. Pretty much it. We haven't tried it yet. Oh, it's got a jalapeno in it.
So it's like
Give it a
our,
bit of
it's our
spice.
dinner juice.
Nice and thick.
We like a nice hearty dinner juice, so we're looking forward to that
Yep.
after we finish shooting our video. And I also wanted to talk about Todd's health issues. So I'm going to give him the floor and let him talk about what got us into juicing from the beginning. How did we even learn about juicing?
Yeah, so ironically, about, I guess somewhere around 2010, a little bit before that actually, many years before that, we got a Jack LaLange juicer. We juiced for a week at one point, not exclusively, but we just juiced. And Trish and I both got deathly ill by about the 6th or 7th day.
Like not this similar sickness like I had this time. It was like a weird sickness.
It was like flu-like symptoms. So we were juicing non-organic vegetables.
And we realized later it was because we were juicing all non-organic vegetables.
And not washing them probably
Yeah.
that well to begin with. So
we basically toxified ourselves.
So it left a really bad taste in our mouth with juice. I mean, it really it ruined it for me for years. So that was probably around 2006 or 7, I'm guessing. So then come down 2010, I started getting a little more educated and aware of things and start thinking about things a little more deeply, and became more in tune to food, which was a really slow evolution of an awakening. Probably almost a decade in the making to that point, very slow. And had sort of an epiphany and started digging and doing research, and my eyes were open to the power of clean and good food. You know, at that time I was 40 years old and a little bit overweight, was probably in the 200, 205 pound range. Was out of shape. I've been in pretty good shape most of my life. Never was really heavy, but my weight was creeping up. I went to play basketball and just could barely, was so out of breath I could barely stand it. So it was a real eye-opener. So both those correlated to starting to take my health seriously and researching. But ironically, I still slow to take action. And come 2012, I was in tune to a lot of things about food, knowledge on food, and the benefits of food. You know, Hippocrates was, really had it right 3,000 plus years ago. So,
say what it is. Like food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's what it's coined for saying, and how true it is. So, ironically, in 2012, I started having blood in my stool. A couple weeks later, I was diagnosed. I had an appointment. I immediately got in for an appointment. Had a colonoscopy and woke up from colonoscopy, and the specialist said I had colon cancer. So,
which was a huge shock. I honestly thought that it was just going to be something minor, like maybe a little hemorrhoid or something, and was just blown away when the doctor came out and said, just by looking at it, he said, I'm so sorry, your husband has colon cancer. And I just about fell over. I couldn't believe that.
So I think it wasn't really a shock because I was expecting something to be wrong from the symptoms. So at that time, after some soul searching, we opted to have laparoscopic surgery, resection. They did the resection. I was off my feet for about a month, or down for about just under a week, but really took it easy for a month. And fortunately, the lab results came back, and it was malignant, but it was non-aggressive. So there was no other signs of it spreading. It was hadn't really permeated through the colon wall. It was just embedded, and they took it out, and which was a grace of God, because I told Tricia that I wasn't going to take part in any type of chemo or radiation therapy. That I said if it was something that came back bad, I was going to do basically probably some modified or very close version of the Gerson therapy. So the Gerson therapy was part of the way that I became very well and astute to the power of food, and watched a lot of documentaries, read a lot of documentation about it.
The Beautiful Truth is one movie.
That was the first movie I think I actually saw about the Gerson therapy, and that was really, really one of the eye-openers. So
yeah, as soon as we're done.
The power of juicing was something that I was going to rely on. I did juice about 3 weeks going into the surgery. I lost a good bit of weight.
Everyone thought that it was the cancer that was causing him to lose so much weight, but it was just because he was juicing.
So that was really what set. But ironically, we juiced on and off for years after, but we never really, we still didn't commit to, we ate clean, but we still ate meat, and probably way too large of quantities. Lots of grains, lots of starchy foods. We were gluten-free, but we were still not eating the way we knew we should have been. And I went up and down with Tricia. I think we battled a little bit. She had a little different views. I was more of a purist. I wanted to do raw foods a lot more, but with the kids and just the nature of how things were in our living situation, we continued eating not exactly the way we should have. So yeah, it was gluten-free and it was organic mostly, but we still ate out a lot. We still ate a lot of sugary foods. And this past year, last summer,
we watched What the Health.
Yeah, What the Health opened my eyes even further. Trish and I both, and we overnight became vegan, whole food, plant-based mostly. Yeah. We ate some stuff, but for the most part, no meat, no dairy. I was very strict. Tricia was 98% strict.
Yeah.
And we did really well with it. So up until this past beginning of summer, we had been basically eating very clean, very well. So it was good. So here we sit now, you know, at the end of the summer of eating really bad.
So this summer, yeah, we just had a rough summer.
The finances were...
Yeah, we had some situations that were out of our control.
Our living situation changed abruptly, so we had to scramble to come up with a way to move in a short fashion. And the one cut we made was cutting the finances toward food, and the other reason was because we lost access to the kitchen where we were for about a month. So we were eating out of convenience because it was about, what's your finger? It was about, it was too difficult to eat properly without a kitchen. So we ended up spiraling down the hole into eating fast food, convenience, pizza, dairy, you name it.
We were really bad, and I was really suffering because, like you all know, I have so many autoimmune problems, and they were just coming back with a vengeance, and I just felt horrible. And it was after watching, well, we belong to a Facebook group, Juicing for Health, and there's a girl on there, a lady on there, who's just had amazing results from juicing. Jennifer Dawn Hewitt is her name, and it just was so inspiring to me because, yay!
Jennifer.
And I looked at her before pictures, and I saw myself. I saw myself in her before pictures, and I thought, if this woman can do this, and she looks wonderful. Her eyes were blue at the beginning, but they're so crystal blue now. I'm like, wow, her eyes changed colors from this. And so I just thought, you know, if this woman can do this and she's feeling so good, there's got to be something to this. And so, yeah, I just said to Todd, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do this juicing thing.
I was like, yeah.
And so he's like, finally, yay! So we committed to 100 days.
Big step. It's a big commitment.
It's a big commitment, but I feel like that will give me time for my autoimmune problems to hopefully go away, and if they don't go away totally, just get me on the right path so that when we go back to being a whole food, plant-based vegan, we're going to be successful.
Yep.
So
changing a lot of habits.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the cravings. set new patterns, and when we do start eating foods again, we'll be eating the right way this time.
So anyway, but thanks for watching. I know tonight's very long, so I hope you hung in there till the end, and happy juicing. We're
Good
gonna
luck,
go have
everybody.
our juice now.
God bless.
Bye. Bye.